Alright guys, we're about to try and crush 4 $7 triple ups on Bovada. Here we go. Three out of 4. Not too bad.
Apologies for the AirPod. The audio on the camera is not doing a great job of picking up what I want it to pick up. So I'm going with the phone recording and hoping that I can overlay the phone audio into the video track. This is my attempt to channel my poker vlogger brethren, who I enjoy watching quite a bit, and specifically inspired by Andrew Neme's challenge to get out there and create some vlogs. So I'm going to try and participate in the challenge and get 5 vlogs out and see how things go. So I'm looking forward to the challenge. I've kind of considered it before, but never had kind of the motivation to get me over the hump. So I appreciate Andrew setting this up and kind of encouraging people to put themselves out there. So I just want to take a couple minutes and talk a little bit about myself, specifically as it relates to poker. I'm 31. I live in Indianapolis. I'm a software consultant in my day job, so obviously not a professional poker player. Very much an amateur, but very, very passionate about the game. I live in Indianapolis with my wife of almost 8 years. We'll be married 8 years in October. Her name's Claire. May try and sneak her in on the vlog once or twice if she lets me. And our 3 kids. We have a 5-year-old son, Matt Jr., and then twin girls, Esther and Julia. I got into poker my senior year of high school, really. Kind of, group of friends played, and I remember our first $5 buy-in was we used cards and we used chips. But when we used chips, a chip was a chip. You could have a green chip and a black chip and a white chip and a red chip. They were all just worth a chip. We didn't even understand the point of like values and denominations in that first game. So we got over that pretty quick. But early on, those first couple years, $5, $10, maybe $20 was a big game for us. And frankly, those were some of the most fun times that I had. Is where you kind of learn the game and playing with your friends, so you pick up their tendencies, and just really enjoyable time. And as I've kind of gotten older, I've floated around between cash games and tournaments and tried a lot of different. I've just learned a lot of different strategies and ways to approach the game, and I'm actually hoping the vlog is going to help me to get some feedback on some things and hopefully make me a better player. So I've talked a little bit about kind of the history of poker in my life, but what is important, I think, for purposes of this first vlog entry challenge is what the game actually means to me. So there's a couple of dynamics of the game that are particularly important to me. So first is the element of competition. I think poker is very unique from a competition perspective in that you can play perfectly, do everything exactly right, and still lose or not come out on top for any number of reasons. I grew up all through my childhood, high school, college, as a competitive swimmer. And in swimming, it's similar in the sense that you race other competitors, but ultimately, at the end of the day, the thing that you're really racing is the clock. And no matter how fast you go, no matter how perfect your race is, nobody ever beats the clock. You can only beat the other competitors. So there's kind of this always ever present, sense of something that is a little bit bigger and more dramatic than your individual level of competition. And I think poker kind of offers that. I also love the idea that, just like it really anything else in life, the more time that you spend, the more hours you put in, the more work that you put in, those things all really show in the long run. And I've really gotten into kind of the studying and understanding game theory and the analytics, getting the math, knowing the percentages, pot odds and implied odds and all those things. And certainly I'm far from an expert, but I enjoy kind of taking all that in and trying to process and then apply it to my game. And lastly, and maybe most importantly, the thing about that I think is really unique about poker is the relationships that you build within the game. So a lot of friends, that I've continued to be friends with, or build relationships with over the course of my life. Some of those, and in fact several of those, either started or were strengthened because of poker. Certainly, the competitive element, and it's not like you're going to walk into a casino and make best friends with every player there, but it definitely is the kind of thing that in the right setting with the right kind of controls and parameters and understanding amongst the different players, it can help deepen relationships in a really, deep and fundamental way. And I think that is pretty unique to poker. I enjoy going to the casino because I get a chance to meet and interact with groups of people that, otherwise I probably wouldn't have a chance to spend time with. So it kind of diversifies the folks in your life, and everybody knows you get some real characters that show up in poker rooms. So that's really what poker is about to me. It's a hobby. It's not a profession. I'd love for it to be at some point in time, but I don't know that I've got the right mentality and mindset for that to ever be the case. So it likely will just be a very passionate hobby for hopefully my entire life. But hopefully that at least explains a little bit why I enjoy the game, what I get out of the game, and ultimately, the way that I try and use the game in my life to just make it a more meaningful and impactful part of my life. Thank you, Andrew, for putting this challenge together and, motivating me and probably a bunch of other guys who have had the same thoughts and feelings from watching you do what you do. And just quickly, I think I actually got into Matt Vaughn's blog before I found Andrew Neeme. I watch both those guys pretty regularly, so just want to call Matt Vaughn out as well for having a vlog that I enjoy. I mean, I know there's a lot of other vloggers out there, but those are the two that I really kind of make a point of catching. As soon as they drop something, I'm typically jumping in and watching their stuff. I just enjoy it. I think it's really good. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.